Welcome back to KBUZZPOP, your #1 stop for the latest updates, shocking revelations, and heartfelt stories from the world of Korean entertainment. Today's story is one that has the internet buzzing, fans speculating, and the entire entertainment industry paying close attention. We are talking about none other than the king of K-drama himself, Lee Min-ho. Yes, you heard it right. The man who has captured millions of hearts across Asia and beyond has finally spoken up, and what he revealed about his marriage plans and his career has left everyone completely stunned. Are you ready to dive into this shocking revelation? Stay tuned till the end, because this isn't just about Lee Min-ho, it's about his dreams, his struggles, his hopes, and perhaps even his secret love life. Now, let's get into it together, because I know all of you are just as curious as I am. So let me ask you this, when you think of Lee Min-ho, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it his role as Gu Junpyo in Boys Over Flowers? Or maybe his suave and elegant appearance in The King, Eternal Monarch? Or perhaps it's his real-life charm, his interviews, his global brand endorsements, or even his rumored relationships. Whatever it is, there's no denying that Lee Min-ho is more than just a celebrity. He's an icon. And yet, despite being one of the most recognizable faces in Korean entertainment, Lee Min-ho has always kept a very private life. He rarely gives away too much about his personal feelings, especially when it comes to topics like marriage and his long-term career choices. But recently, during a special interview and fan interaction, Lee Min-ho decided to open up in a way he hasn't before. And trust me, what he said has fans either squealing with excitement, clutching their hearts in surprise, or even shedding a few emotional tears. So, let's break this down together. Imagine this, Lee Min-ho sitting in front of reporters, calm and composed, but with that glimmer in his eyes, the same glimmer fans fell in love with years ago. The big question was dropped, do you think about marriage? And what do you see in your career moving forward? At first, the room went silent, because everyone knew this was a very personal question. But Lee Min-ho didn't shy away. Instead, he took a deep breath, smiled, and answered in a way that none of us were expecting. He said, "Marriage, it's not something I can avoid talking about forever. I've thought about it many times. And I want to say this clearly. For me, marriage is not just about settling down, it's about finding the right person who understands both Lee Min-ho the actor and Lee Min-ho the human being." Did you just get chills? Because I know I did. Fans immediately started speculating, who could that person be? Is he hinting at someone already in his life? Could it be one of the actresses he has worked closely with over the years, like Kim Go-eun, Suzy, or even Song Hye-kyo? Or is there someone behind the scenes, a mystery woman that no one knows about yet? I'll let you decide. Drop your guesses in the comments, because I know you all have your theories. But he didn't stop there. Lee Min-ho went on to say, "As for my career, I've reached a point where I want to challenge myself more. Fame is not everything. I want to take roles that speak to my soul, roles that make people think, and stories that will remain even after I step away from acting one day." And that statement hit fans differently. Because for years, Lee Min-ho has carried the crown of being the ultimate K-drama heartthrob. He could easily choose the safest roles, the romantic leads, the handsome chaebol characters that always make fans swoon. But here he is, saying he wants more, he wants to leave behind a legacy. Isn't that powerful? Now, let's pause for a second and make this interactive. If you've followed Lee Min-ho for years, you know how much his dramas have impacted fans. Which of his dramas is your personal favorite? City Hunter, Legend of the Blue Sea, or maybe Pachinko? And how do you feel about his desire to explore deeper roles? Should he stick with romance, or should he branch into something completely different like thrillers, historical epics, or even international films? Let me know, because your opinions matter in this global fan community. And speaking of international, Lee Min-ho also dropped another revelation. He mentioned that he's been approached by Hollywood producers multiple times, but he has always hesitated because he didn't feel ready. But now he says, the world is changing. Korean culture is spreading globally. I want to be part of that bridge between Korea and the world. Can you imagine that? Lee Min-ho starring in a Hollywood blockbuster? Picture him standing alongside actors like Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, or even Brad Pitt. It would be a dream come true, not just for him but for all of his fans around the world. But let's circle back to marriage, because I know that's the part everyone is really waiting for. Lee Min-ho confessed that although he has no official plans yet, he is starting to think about it more seriously. He said, "There comes a point in your life when you realize that work is important, but so is having someone by your side when the lights are off and the cameras stop rolling." That statement was so raw, so vulnerable, that fans couldn't help but wonder, is Lee Min-ho lonely behind all that fame? Does he secretly yearn for a family of his own? And if so, who could possibly be the lucky woman? Some fans believe he's still in touch with Suzy, his famous ex-girlfriend. Others think he has chemistry with his co-stars like Kim Go-eun or Park Shin-hye. And then there are fans who believe he might be dating someone outside of the industry entirely, someone far away from the public eye. What do you think? Could Lee Min-ho surprise us all with a sudden announcement one day? Now let's make this even more engaging. Imagine if Lee Min-ho suddenly posted a picture of an engagement ring on his Instagram tomorrow. What would your reaction be? Would you cry tears of happiness, or would you feel heartbroken that the nation's boyfriend is no longer single? Comment below, because I know this is something fans talk about every single day. But here's the shocking twist. Lee Min-ho admitted that one of his biggest fears is that his future partner might struggle with the spotlight. He said, "Whoever I marry will not just be marrying me, but also the attention, the fans, the media, and the constant pressure. That is something I think about carefully, because I don't want someone I love to suffer because of me." And that, my friends, shows the depth of his character. Lee Min-ho isn't just thinking about himself. He's thinking about the person he will one day love and protect. Isn't that what makes him even more admirable? As for his career, Lee Min-ho also spoke about directing and producing in the future. He wants to tell stories not just in front of the camera, but behind it as well. Imagine Lee Min-ho writing or directing a drama that becomes the next big global hit. Fans would support it endlessly. And it seems like he's preparing himself for that chapter already. So, what do we take from all this? Lee Min-ho's shocking revelation is not just about marriage, and not just about career. It's about growth, maturity, and vision. He's no longer the young actor we first saw in Boys Over Flowers. He's a man who knows what he wants, and who is ready to embrace the next stage of life, both personally and professionally. Now, before I wrap this up, I want to ask you, do you think Lee Min-ho will announce marriage in the next few years? Or will he surprise us suddenly, like Hyun Bin and Sun Ye-jin did with their secret love story that turned into a fairy tale wedding? And do you think his career will lean more toward acting in Korea, or will he finally take the leap into Hollywood? Your thoughts are what make this conversation exciting, so don't hold back. Drop your opinions, theories, and even your fan wishes in the comments. One thing is for sure, Lee Min-ho has spoken, and his words have shaken us all. Marriage, career, love, and legacy. He's thinking about it all. And we, as fans, will be right here, cheering for him every step of the way. So stay tuned, because if there's one thing we know about Lee Min-ho, it's that he always has a surprise waiting for us. And who knows? The next revelation might just be the biggest one yet.